all you cool cats and kittens, it's me, Sarah. Welcome back. Now, if you're anything like me, you have binge watched Tiger King in the course of a day, and now you're like, something's missing. Something's missing, and that something is episode 8. Unfortunately, I just can't deliver that to you at this point. But I do have something even better, and that is books. Books. I have a list of books for you all about the topics covered in Tiger King. So I did some research and I found 11 books that talk about different aspects of Tiger King, and some of them are more lighthearted stories, some of them are more like serious topics about animal abuse and animal exploitation and stuff like that. So you can kind of pick where you fall in that range of what you're looking for, but hopefully something on this list will appeal to you. And if you find anything, definitely let me know down in the comments which one of these books sounds most interesting to you. So the first book on the list is a book that, I kid you not, is called The Lizard King. From the description on Amazon, it basically seems like Tiger King, but for lizards. This is the description. It's called The True Crimes and Passions of the World's Greatest Reptile Smugglers. So if that doesn't sound like the next best thing for when you're done with Tiger King, I don't know what is, but check that out if that sounds appealing to you. The next book, number 2, this is a book that deep dives into one of the topics that was touched on in the Tiger King series, and that is arson. Arson. There is some arson suspected that happens over the course of this storyline, and I found another book on arson, and it is called American Fire: Love, Arson, and Life in a Vanishing Land. I don't know too much about this, but it sounds like it's kind of a combination of a story of several, like, what's the word? Infamous arsonists in American history, as well as kind of a history of arson in general in the United States or of the world. And I think if you are someone who thought that that episode and that story component was really interesting and you want to know more about arson, then check that book out. Okay, third on my list, this is not one single book, but this is actually 19 books. And these are 19 books that are authored by none other than Carole Baskin herself. Now, I was researching this video and I was trying to look up books that were written by the people who are talked about in the story. And Carole Baskin is a prolific author. Like, who knew? She has written 19 books. Looking at her Goodreads, she has 19 books. Now, who knows, like, maybe these are another Carole Baskin, I don't know, but I don't think so, because they are basically all about cats and big cats. So it seems like they're all about, like, I don't know, what's the word, like an encyclopedia almost about different kind of cats, different kind of big cats. But, you know, if you just want to dive in and learn more about her and her writing, then check those out. Number 4, this is a book called Zoo, Nebraska, and it actually seems to have a lot of parallels to the Tiger King story. Basically, it sounds like this is about a small rural town in Nebraska, and like one of the core elements of this town is a zoo. From the description, it seemed a lot like Joe Exotic's zoo, like these roadside zoos, and it's a story about like the politics surrounding the zoo in this small town. It honestly sounds like a pretty good book, so check it out. So next I have a few more serious books, I would say, from the looks of it. So if you watch, Carole Baskin's husband has a response to the series of Tiger King, and one of the things he says is he thought that the series was going to be more about animals and about animal exploitation and dive more into like exposing the industry instead of having it be like so people centric, you know? So I specifically wanted to find some books that are about animal exploitation and kind of deep dive more into that topic, especially when it comes to zoos. So the next book I have on my list is called Captive. And this is a book that, from what I can tell, is kind of exposing the zoo industry and kind of talks about how zoos, you know, a lot of us think of zoos as a positive thing. Like, it's a family-friendly thing. You take kids to it. It's like there's summer camp that happens there. It's all fun and games. You see the animals. Like, it's great. But there is, you know, in order to have zoos, you have to have animals in captivity, and you know, that's not all fun and games. There is a very serious side to that, and the book Captive does dive into some of that. So yeah, check that out if you want to learn more about that. Okay, you guys, another serious book is coming up next, and that is a book called Poached. The cover is kind of calling to me. I think if I picked a book on this list, it may be this one. But this is called Poached, an inside dark world of wildlife trafficking. And that kind of says it all. So check it out if you want to learn more. The next book on the list, we have a book that is considered one of the forefronts or the like founding important books when it comes to veganism, as well as like animal liberation, the whole movement of animal liberation. And this book is none other than Animal Liberation by Peter Singer. And this book, I think it was written originally in like 1975. So it is, you know, an older book. But I think if you are interested in learning about animals in captivity and really learning about the movement and kind of the start of that movement, then I think this book is probably worth the read. You guys, like, looking back, I feel like I probably should have found some more lighthearted books, but like when you start diving into books about zoos and like exotic pets and all this stuff, like it just gets really dark really fast. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it is dark. So the next one is called Zoo Ethics, The Challenges of a Compassionate Conservation. And this is another one that dives into zoos. And I think it tries to talk about how zoos, you know, they have this, like, so many people who work in zoos, like, it's all about conservation. And that's kind of what is talked about when you go to zoos. Like, it's about, okay, like, here are all these endangered animals, we need to conserve them. But how do you balance that with the fact that you're keeping animals in captivity, you know? So I think this book tries to tackle that topic. Next on my list is a book that I've heard several vegan YouTubers talk about, and this is a book called Some We Love, Some We Hate, Some We Eat, Why It's So Hard to Think Straight About Animals. And I think this book is actually a really, like, dives into a really interesting topic of what's kind of known as speciesism. Basically why, like, some animals, like cats and dogs, we love, we have as part of our family. And then other animals, like, you know, rats and cockroaches, we, like, you know, we hate. And then some animals, like chickens, cows, we eat. And, like, where do we draw the line? Like, what, like, why is it that some animals kind of have different, we feel differently about? And this reminded me so much of Tiger King, because it's like, you know, like, these animals are being cherished as these, like, powerful, amazing beings, but at the same time, you're literally buying other dead animals. Like, they have the Walmart truck of all the, like, expired meat. And it's like they're just killing all those other animals, or they're just feeding them dead animals. And it's just like, I don't know. I think this book kind of has a lot of parallels to what was talked about. So check that one out. Okay, the last book on the list. This may be one of the ones that I pick up next if I had to pick one. There's a few on the list that I think are really speaking to me, but this one, I think it's the cover, you know. Like, again, I don't want to judge a book by its cover, but the cover is calling to me. And this book is Stolen Worlds, A Tale of Reptiles, Smugglers, and Skulduggery. And, like, the description of this sounds so interesting. It's like, okay, tortoises disappear from a Madagascar reserve and reappear in the Bronx Zoo. A dead iguana floats in a jar, awaiting its unveiling in a Florida court. A viper causes mayhem from Ethiopia to Virginia. In Stolen World, Jennie Erin Smith takes the reader on an unforgettable journey, a dark adventure over 5 decades in 6 continents. So it sounds like this is talking a lot about like animal, what's the word? Like smuggling, sale, and the animal trade, which is obviously a huge topic of Tiger King, about how like there's all this breeding, all this like selling of different animals. They're buying animals. It's like happening. Some of it's legal, some of it's illegal, and there's all of this like just so much going on. So hopefully that book will kind of explore that topic more, if that is something that really piqued your interest while you were watching Tiger King. So that's it. Hopefully you can find something in this list, whether you're looking for something a bit more lighthearted or something more serious, talking about the animal exploitation, the zoo industry. Let me know if you end up picking up any of these books, or if you think any of them sound interesting. I would love to know which ones appeal to you. And that's it. If you like videos like this and you want to hear more about books, reading, all of that, then subscribe to my channel for more. And until next time, you guys, bye.